those are the guys if you want the Roman histories to look at for the horse's mouth of what's going on from a Roman point of view in this period. Yeah.
Are all of them pretty consistent with each other? Is there a lot of differences between their?
They're pretty consistent. Some of them are dependent on each other, but they give it extra detail here or there. Yeah.
I'm wondering from the point of view of a Roman, average Roman, or a Roman farmer, how big was the Jewish war? I know it's big for us.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a minute and read the preface. But I don't think the farmer gave a hoot about these things. You didn't have instant television like we have. These were events happening maybe 3 months away from where they were living. I mean, it took maybe 2 or 3 months for any information to get back to them. By that time, all the big events would have transpired. So I don't think the Roman farmer, the Roman aristocrat in the Senate, these are important events for the Roman aristocrat in the Senate. If you want to get now, there's another TV thing that I've been mentioning to you. If you want to get a good picture of that, what you're talking about, the class system in Rome, and the different way the aristocrats might have approached things than the members in the army or even more lower people than that. This docudrama we've had on recently, Rome, that's on HBO, though it is a little bit, again, lurid, a lot of sexuality in it, not too much soft porn, but sexuality, because like the modern audience, like the ancient audience, the modern audience has to be attracted to as well. You can't put a series on TV without something to lure them in. But that covers the period, as I told you, from Julius Caesar and Pompey down to the assassination of Julius Caesar, and then the rise of Mark Antony and Octavius, who later becomes Augustus. And they're having a second series, a second season is being prepared now. Will start, I think, next March of that. So this one went down with the assassination of Julius Caesar. I think the rest will go down through Cleopatra, Mark Antony and Cleopatra. They introduced Cleopatra and stuff. So they could, with Cleopatra, they could bring a lot of sex into it. And also Augustus's sister was pretty wild, and there's some lesbian stuff in it, and a lot of that kind of stuff. Because the Romans were into all that stuff. So sex every which way was the Roman diet, and that's just the way it went. And everyone wanted to be in Caesar's bed, supposedly, and according to everyone, all the gossip of Caesar, every woman in Rome had been in, or Caesar had been in the bed of every woman in Rome just about, and this Rome series tries to portray that as his downfall, that one of his jilted women, who was very vengeful, that's the plot of this Rome series, was Brutus's mother. And Brutus actually, if you read Julius Caesar of Shakespeare, it was one of the assassins, chief assassin of Caesar. But Caesar doted on him, and many said that he was an illegitimate son of Caesar. So part of the plot of that Rome is to show Brutus's mother taking vengeance for having been jilted by Caesar, by putting it into her son's head over and over again to kill, the person who had done her wrong, and so on and so forth. So all that's pretty good in the Rome series, and that's clearly taken from Roman historians, directed from Roman historians. The drama is pretty good. It's not as good as I Claudius, but if you watch the two of those, if you don't like reading history books, you'll start to get a picture, and that gives you a good picture, I think, of the peasantry, of the estates, of the different levels of the population, what each are concerned about, and so on. But the population, was happy about the Jewish war because they didn't know anything about it after it was over, but then they could have a big triumph and bring all the prisoners to Rome, and be a lot of slaves for sale, and they could watch the big processions and the executions. They loved to watch executions, apparently. And then they could use the money from the sacking of the temple to build the Colosseum, where the big execution displays were staged, in terms of fights and sporting events and blood sports and that kind of thing. I mean, the Colosseum wasn't built for dramatic theater. It was built for blood sport, and people seem to respond to that. The mass responded to that. And so they were, I think, entertained by whatever the winning parties had achieved in the Jewish war. But to go back to Josephus, which got us on this in the first place, Josephus' second book, 93, 94, Vita, at the same time. And I think something happened in here, Domitian's time. There were Christians in the imperial household. What's the best evidence that there were Christians in the imperial household that you know? Well, if you read Eusebius' history of the early church, he says it directly. But what's the best? I mean, talking about the imperial household of Nero and not so much, yeah, well, Nero's wife was interested in religious things, Josephus tells us. Her name was Poppaea. And these are endless interesting things here. And she met Josephus, she liked Josephus. According to Josephus, he got involved with her through a Jewish actor in Rome. And you know, Nero liked to be on the stage. And Josephus says in his Vita that she liked him and sent him away with many gifts. Yeah, I'm talking about, this is Nero's wife. Did I say?
I thought you said Domitian, but.
No, this is Nero's wife. Domitian comes. I'm going to talk about Domitian's household. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the household of these people. So this starts in Nero's time. People in the household of the emperor. Christians in the household of the emperor. Now, whether she's a Christian or a Jewish sympathizer isn't clear, depending on what you think Christianity is at this point. I'm talking about Poppaea, but she's a sympathizer. Funnily, she gets to know him through a Jewish actor. Josephus says she sent him away laden with gifts. Now, he'd be about 26 years old at that time. He went to Rome on a mysterious visit of some kind that he discusses in his Vita, to rescue two priests who had gone to Rome to appeal to Caesar. Now, you know, Paul talks about, or at least the book of Acts talks about Paul's famous appeal to Caesar, where the Herodian kings say to Paul in Acts about 25, 26, the scene is Felix, the Roman governor, a very, very brutal person, Drusilla, Herodian princess, who divorced someone on Simon Magus's advice to marry Felix. How do I know all this stuff? I mean, I know you're looking baffled. I read